please introduce your guest. She's been sitting here quietly.
She's been awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm very excited to introduce Karen Boardman. And I want to segue this with the fact the reason I chose the How Are You Protecting Your Strategy Enough is because in that differentiation aspect, it's not just about differentiating yourself, it's about protecting that differentiation, right? So that nobody else can copy it, take it, whatever. And I've had the pleasure of working with Karen. I realized we met literally when you just got here. We met through a group called Business Sorority. It's now CHM Collective, and then know you through NABO, the Women Business Owners as well. And we just connected immediately because we have a similar passion for helping small business and helping them know that anything they need to do can be done affordably and effectively. And so Karen is an attorney. Over 2 years of experience, just launched her company. 2020. I said 20. Did I say 2 years?
Yeah.
No, 20 years. Sorry about that, Karen. And just co-founded Alignment Legal in Charlotte. And we've worked together over these 5 years in the space of trademark, service mark aspects. But her firm does so much more than that. Anything to do with contract work. I know you guys do employment law. You're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what's also really impressive is Karen was recently honored by the Business North Carolina with the Legal Elite Award in Intellectual Property. So, gee, I know I'm working with the best, but now it's been validated, right? And she is also a board chairperson for Mel Miller Foundation that was recently formed, which is exciting to learn more about that. And, graduate of University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, North Carolina Central University School of Law. But something that, you think you know somebody, and then you realize there's something else really cool about them. And and I read in looking at your bio that while you were in law school, before and after, you did guardian ad litem work. And my oldest daughter does that. And something that a lot of people don't know about me is I came from a really rough childhood. And my daughter chose to do this, which is basically, and you can explain a little bit about what that is. But she did it because she felt so grateful that she had such a great childhood that she wanted to help those that didn't. And so maybe share a little bit about the guardian ad litem and why you were so passionate about it. So it seems like you love to work with those that need the help the most.
That's right.
Like small business, right?
That's right.
So tell people what the guardian ad litem is.
So it is a program that works hand in hand with the Department of Social Services in North Carolina when a child is removed from their parents' care in cases of abuse and neglect. They are assigned a guardian ad litem volunteer that looks out for that child's best interests because the parents have their own attorneys, the Department of Social Services has their caseworkers, but there needs to be someone that is looking out specifically for the child. And so I did that work for I think 5 or 6 years before and during law school, just as a way to give back.
Well, thank you. And you've always been about giving back as well. Now, I know Joe always likes to ask this question, and I always think it's a great segue. Okay, so when did you decide what you're doing now? Tell us a little bit about your story. Did you always know you were going to follow this path, or did it come about because of some significant thing that happened? Share a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I knew from the time I was about 12 years old that I was going to be a lawyer, which is pretty young. Before that, I was going to be an actress. So it was a pretty interesting segue from acting to law school.
Well, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I think they're spot on.
There's not that much difference.
I know a lot of attorneys. No, it's not.
But in terms of working in intellectual property, it was actually kind of an accident.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, so I decided I didn't go to law school right away. After undergrad, I needed a few years off because I was overwhelmed. And I decided to get a job in the legal field to make sure, that my 12-year-old self had made the right decision by the time I was actually 21, 22, getting out of college. And so I got a job as a very low-level job in an intellectual property department of a corporate legal department. And so it actually was by accident. And so then I got so much experience in intellectual property as a legal assistant and then a paralegal, it was hard to do anything else. And then when I went to law school, I took some more classes about it and realized this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I realized
Yeah.
that being able to protect people's unique and creative ideas was really something that I wanted to focus on. And so I continued to work in intellectual property as a paralegal during law school. I worked full time while I was in law school. Do not recommend that, but it is what it is. And then I've been working in it ever since I graduated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are amazing. We've shared many clients.
That's right.
Many clients, and you. What I also think is impressive is that you. I'm just going to say you're not the typical attorney, and and
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
I'll figure
because-
that out.
because-
I'm not sure about that yet.
Well, all I know is we had one infringement case that this woman made. We won against venture capital money in New York City. Okay, in New York, we won at a fraction of what typically it would cost because Karen, you were willing to work step. Versus, okay, just, show me the money kind of thing. And that told me that you really have business's best interest. You want to do what's in their best interest, but also what is legally in the best way to go, right?
That's right.
So I want to give you kudos.
Well, thank you.
Because of how you approach things. It's refreshing.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I really understand how each business's creativity impacts their business and how it impacts the greater community. And my goal is to make sure that things get protected properly. And it doesn't necessarily mean, I want people to realize that legal services don't have to be inaccessible or unaffordable because I want to make them so that more people can get their stuff protected.
Exactly. Well, and one thing I knew the
Whoa,
question I
whoa,
wanted
whoa,
to
whoa. I've
ask.
been, as we're sitting here thinking,
Yeah.
for 10 years I've been saying your business matters. Now, I got to be honest with you. That's got a little thing to it.
Yeah,
you
it
understand?
does. It does.
Can I protect that? Because
you-
those 3 words that anybody can say.
Right. So I'll
Yes,
give you
anytime they
you
want.
can.
I'll give you a real legal answer. It depends.
Now that is
See,
where
I
that
told
is
you.
where the attorney does come in.
I told you she was going to end up just like the rest of them.
But here's the thing, and I want, because you see it all the time, I see it all the time. There is a lack of understanding. Like I was just on a website today talking to a collaborative partner, and they actually have an attorney working with them apparently on their trademark protection. But you go to their website, and everything that is showing a TM should actually be an SM.
Okay.
Versus a trademark. So there's trademark, there's service mark, and there's that registration mark, there's a TMSM registration mark, and then there's copyright.
Right.
And most business owners get them all misconstrued.
That's right.
So, in a quick and dirty way, the difference between those. And then you got patent, which is a whole nother animal.
Patent is a whole other animal, and I don't touch that because
Yeah.
I don't do the
It's very
science.
specialized, yeah.
I know enough about it because I did that as a paralegal.
Sure.
But the biggest thing about trademark and service mark can be interchangeable terms. And in terms of people using the TM versus the SM, that's okay. Those are interchangeable.
Whoa. Ladies. You talking way over
Right.
my
Okay,
head.
I'll bring it back
Yeah,
down a little
yeah.
bit.
Can you please
Yes,
explain it?
of
Because I
course.
have no idea what you two
Right.
just said.
Yeah.
So a trademark is a source identifier. It's going to be the name, logo, slogan, character,
Product,
what have you,
yeah.
that represents a brand. And it can represent the products or the services.
Right.
So some people will make a distinction between trademark and service mark in that service marks represent services. Trademarks represent everything but services.
Right.
But you really can use trademark
So
to
give me an
represent
example of
services too.
services
Okay, that's
that
a
would
good
be.
clarification.
Give me an example of services that could be protected.
Really any kind of service.
Right.
I mean, podcasting, radio broadcasting can be a service. Business brokerage can be a service. Marketing can be
Yeah.
a service. Any of those things, any of the things that you or your clients do for their customers is a service that can be protected with it. Well, the bigger focus is whether the brand name can be protected,
It
not
can
the
be protected,
service.
yes, right. Because the service classifies it, but
Right.
yeah. But
You're protecting the name
Yeah.
or logo or slogan or what have you.
Yeah.
Whatever is the branding, that's
Yeah.
what you're protecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why, even though there's plenty of radio shows out there, your business matters has a chance.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I got her to think about it.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about how I can brand all up and down this situation. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. If it's I was going to say Friday. If it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. I really got to work on that. I got to work on that. Yeah. All right. Now, Miss Chatterie DeMeo, or number one.
Yes.
You brought Karen Boardman here. She is the partner at Alignment. Am I saying that correctly?
Alignment Legal.
Yes.
Alignment Legal. You are an expert in trademark and copyright. Is that mostly what you do?
It is most of what I do. I also work with small businesses on other matters. I basically serve as a general counsel for businesses that are too small to have an in-house counsel.
Okay.
So I help with entity formation, contract drafting and negotiations, and then my partner, Renee Hughes, does employment law and civil litigation. So between the two of us, we really have businesses covered.
Yeah,
So-
I'm actually going to have them in this next quarter help me spin off a division into its own entity. So I couldn't have two better people to help me do it.
That's right.
So I run into this a lot. My small business people, they trademark or copyright. What's the difference between trademark and copyright?
So trademark is specifically for branding. It identifies the source
The
of
logo.
the logo, the name, slogan.
Okay.
It's the source identifier for the underlying products or services.
Okay.
A copyright is really content. It is
That would be
fixed
my
content.
your business matter.
No, that's a slogan.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
fixed content like a photograph,
Okay.
a piece of artwork, a book, a movie, a song,
Okay.
a video, even your website content, once it's fixed and posted online,
Yes.
you have copyright rights in that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have clients that spend money on trademark. Correct, Cherie?
Yes,
It's trademark?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll make sure
yeah.
I'm on the right track here.
That's right.
And then they tell me, look at all the time and energy and money that I spent on this trademark, right? I should get value for this.
Right?
But as a broker, the value for me is not in all of the hard work that you guys did and
Yeah,
put this together. Matter of fact, Cherie and I had,
Exactly. Yeah.
I called Cherie just last week about this, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
so for me, the value is to be able to take that actual trademark and implement it in a way that it creates and is created leverage and has real value
Yeah, like
that
market share.
nobody could duplicate.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you have to create goodwill
Right.
in that trademark.
Yes, you
And
do.
so for your clients, if they're getting ready to sell their business, for example, hopefully they have put the years into building up the goodwill and reputation in that name, slogan, logo, whatever it is. And then when they go to sell their business, they're selling it with the trademark and all the goodwill and reputation that goes with it.
And that is
Yeah.
much more powerful than
Absolutely.
not having the trademark.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the other part of it is when you get your trademark done properly, you have an attorney who is involved and makes sure that you are not accidentally infringing someone else's trademark.
Exactly.
And an attorney can stay involved and make sure that nobody else is infringing your trademark.
Now
It's the exclusivity.
you just stepped right where I wanted you to go. You think I don't
what
know
I'm
how
here
to
for.
handle you attorneys. I could get you to step right where no. Then my client says, but I defended my trademark.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got money for defending my trademark, as if that in itself is value.
Right.
Explain that to me, because they felt like they needed and had to defend it, which is more of a liability than an asset. If somebody wants to use my name and then I have to go after them to stop them to do that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the whole point in keeping it exclusive is that you do have to defend it. You have to make sure, you have to police and make sure that there's nobody else out there that is infringing on your trademark, because you don't know what they are doing to your reputation. And so, yes, you can get some money back from defending your trademark, but the bigger picture is getting that would-be competitor out of the market under your name. Because what happens usually in terms of infringement, the business has been using their trademark for years and years. They've built up the goodwill,
Right,
the reputation, et cetera. And then someone else comes along and just starts using the same mark, and they're trading on all of the goodwill and reputation that original business had spent years building up.
Right.
And so defending it means getting that other party out of the market and creating that exclusivity. And that's where the value in the trademark is.
Okay, now we're going to get tricky.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-oh.
I had a client years ago. He owned Holy Guacamole.
Okay. It's a
Sound-
great trademark.
It's exceptional, right? He even opened up a little restaurante, right? It was delicious. The children loved it up there at the college, right? And then he gets a phone call from a large international super duper mean company wanting to say, whoa, 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 you can't use that. Now, he had all the legal documentation, which he felt locally, they had all the legal documentation in national.
Right.
Explain the difference to me, because
Yeah.
this was a really interesting, it was as if both of them were correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are both correct in a sense. So trademark is all about how and where it's being used. So if a company is using their trademark locally in a geographic area, they have certain rights that they have garnered by using it in that geographic area. So say the Charlotte market, okay? And they've got a restaurant, they've got local
Delicious
customers,
Mexican food.
etc.
Okay.
But there's another company that maybe they're using it across multiple states.
Putting stuff in grocery stores.
Grocery stores.
Okay.
And they have rights at the federal level that supersede the rights at the local level.
At the local and
Now,
state level.
depending on who started using it first,
Right.
will determine who can continue to use it where.
Well,
so if your
I'm
client,
not going to brag,
right,
but my client was first.
right. So he still had the rights.
So he won up the big boy.
That's right. So he still had the rights in the Charlotte market,
Right.
right? But they still
But
had
he
the
wanted
rights outside
right.
of Charlotte.
That's what was interesting, because he wanted to fight and say, whoa, 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 if I have it, I have it.
Right.
And
No,
they said,
he
no,
has it
only
in
in your
Charlotte
area.
Yeah.
Right.
because he had only used it in Charlotte.
Interesting.
Now, if he had had multiple locations of his restaurant, say he'd had one in Charlotte and in Raleigh and in Charleston,
Right.
he would have had
a little
rights
bit more
in
height,
all of
yeah.
those places.
Interesting.
And he would have had a little bit more leverage. But if they were using it in grocery stores across the country, they had been using it in all those places. He wasn't serving customers in all those places.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that is where it gets a little
these
dicey.
things- but that's what I was going to say. This is not absolute. here.
Absolutely
No,
not.
no,
It's very gray, and it can be very frustrating and
Yeah.
emotional. It
And
can
if
be
I
very
hire
emotional.
you, I need you to be mean,
Oh,
nasty. Sometimes you got to.
I love to write a good season desist.
Oh, yeah,
You
she
have
does.
no idea.
She does.
It
I
is one of
wish
the thrills
she
of my
does.
week.
I wish
I
you
am
on the radio.
I am witness to that.
I wish you people on the radio would go to the book and you could see her face when she said, "I really
Clenched
like." I love it. Okay, all right. You made a believer out of me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. It is actually one of the thrills of my week when I get to send somebody a cease and desist
When your
letter.
client calls and says, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
That's
Karen,"
right. That's right.
Well, and
you're
a
like,
mu-
"Well, let me go get some lunch and I'll come back and get
That's
started
right.
on this."
That's right.
well,
Okay.
and a mutual contact that Karen and I have that we both leverage for clients is Tamara Rabinold with Voltra, who does the takedowns, infringement work, and we've had her on this show. She was one of my guests a couple years ago.
And she loves doing this stuff too.
I
She really
know.
does. So she actually just helped a client of mine very
Oh,
recently.
they are so good.
Yeah, they're so great in like getting those infringing products.
So, most of my clients are afraid to call you
Sure.
Yeah.
because you're
I get that.
expensive.
No.
No,
I want to talk about
she's
that a little bit.
affordable. That's what's so awesome about it.
Give me an idea of what a client would go through if they came to you and were thinking about, okay, I think I want this trademark. Because right now, we're thinking it's so risky. It's so. Last thing, I just told you a story about a guy that had that name for
Right.
27 years or whatever, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he still had to fight with that larger company to win his battle, right?
Right.
And it's almost not worth it,
Right.
because the name for a smaller company doesn't have the kind of leverage it does for a really larger company.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
so when is it right for me to come to you and talk about setting up a trademark?
ASAP.
Yes.
It's never too early.
Right.
There's so many people that think that they don't need trademark protection until they get big enough.
Yeah,
Whatever that
big
means.
mistake.
Right? That they start making X figures. Whatever magic.
To me, it's sort of this multi-level, right? You know what I mean? It's this multi-unit,
Right.
multi-level kind of thing.
It's actually better to get your trademark protection done very, very early.
Even before you're using it. I
Even
think
before you're
emphasize
using
that.
it.
Yes.
Even before you're using it. First of all, it's better to go ahead and get a clearance search done
Yeah.
before you've started using it, because
Clearance search.
so I go in and look to see if there's anybody else out there that's already using that trademark for goods or services that are similar to yours.
And something that I do and work in tandem is that you're coming up with a brand name. You need to know that it's available because
That's
you're
right.
always going to be thinking about whether it's protectable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to do it early because you want to make sure that you're not infringing somebody else's mark, and you do that at the beginning.
So I don't burn my time, energy, and
That's
money.
right.
in
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you spend 5 years, and then 5 years down the road, you've been using that mark, and you got to go back and change everything. It's a heck of a lot more expensive that
Yes,
way.
it is.
We're talking with Karen Boardman. She is a partner at Alignment Legal. She is an expert trademark copyrights and all manner of other stuff. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I got some clients I might send to you so you can send some
Please
nasty
do.
letters out.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. For the entire month, you're going to hear number one, Cherie DeMeo, founder and CEO of Biz Growth Inc., maestro of solutions for entrepreneurs. And she's going to be on her own next week. Oh,
Ooh.
boy.
Yeah, no kidding.
If it is inspirational, motivational, or informationable, is that a word?
It is now.
That's what we do in WSIC, where your business matters. We'll see you next week.